Okay, G, you're good to go.
Okay. Hey, everybody. It's G Fletcher here from Australia, Queensland, where there isn't a public holiday. And tonight we have the UK team, which is very exciting. We have Brett Dorney and Patricia Barrowman, and they're going to be talking about the launch, our launch guide. We've updated it a bit, and also the new ITT system, which we're all going to hear about. This is the new one that's been rolled out all over LifeVantage. Okay. So I'd like to give a big warm welcome for any of our new people that are on today. Huge welcome to everyone, and say you have joined the right team at the right time with an incredible business system that we have here, incredible products. So a huge welcome to you. Reminder that a trial for Protandim is a month for every decade with your customers. Invite people on a subscription. It's always the cheapest way, and you can actually delete their subscription at any time in your back office now. Look after your customers. This is something that's really, really important, and keep in touch with them. Invite distributors. We just say invite them, whatever pack that they need to come in on, whatever is affordable, but we know the best value is the platinum or gold. And you must be on a subscription, even if it's a minimum of 40 PV. I've seen a couple of people with a ProBio, that's 35 PV. It's not enough. So please look and see what your subscription is. And this is your business. Please don't rely on your upline. Take ownership. We are here to help everyone. That is our complete joy. But know that this is your business. This is our website, teamheartsunited.com. Password is capital H, Hearts20, to get in the distributor login. And we suggest you start on the code, at least the first 2 modules, and download the launch guide. And then anytime you want to send something out, this is where you would send, teamheartsunited.com, to people as well. And we can show you what's the best way to send it out. So this Wednesday is not for Europe. It is for Australia and New Zealand. Deb Erickson it's really exciting to have this lady come and train us. She normally specializes in network marketers and direct sales, and she works on how to uncover the mindset blocks that are slowing your business growth. So I think we all need this, which is going to be amazing. And I will definitely see if I can get the recording maybe afterwards for the UK and Ireland team as well, because she sounds incredible. So that is this Wednesday, 2 p.m. New Zealand, 12 o'clock News Australia. These are the 3 overviews this week for Australia. This is a collaboration that we've done with a few other elites. So you have Australia on Wednesday at 8 p.m. You have New Zealand at 7:30 New Zealand time on Wednesday. And then Europe is at 8:30 on Thursday night. All different Zoom numbers. So just be mindful of that. And now we've got the overview, the NAD launch. How exciting. It's coming tomorrow. So we have Darren Jensen, our CEO, and Cortland and Dr. Brian Dixon all coming on tomorrow at 10 a.m. Australia time, well, New South Wales and Queensland, and 12 o'clock New Zealand time. So please try and get on. One, to show support. Even if you're in Australia, it doesn't matter. You're going to get to hear from our CEO and also Cortland. So I really encourage you to get on. We will put that up. It should be in your chats. And also tomorrow night, please put it in your diaries that we have Dr. Gail Pearson and Dr. Craig Walsham, because we officially launch NAD into New Zealand tomorrow. The first country outside America to actually have this. So please jump on an NAD launch, a Q&A with the doctors, and they're going to be questioning each other. So it'll be a really good, and then there'll be a time for you to do some Q&A as well. So it'll go for about 30 minutes or so tomorrow night, 7 p.m. New Zealand time. So please jump on that, and we will have that out up on Team Hearts United later as well. And then we have a prize for the month of June. The top 5 winners for NAD bottles sold win a full True Science skincare kit each, valued at $242, a t-shirt or a book, and a notepad, pen, or hat. So different kind of goodies that we're going to have. So I really encourage you, you need to make a note, and I will put up some kind of template in the Team Hearts United group as well, for you to write down any of your existing customers that you've been at an NAD order, any new customers, whether it's a single bottle, whether it's a tri-synergizer, just write down the ID numbers and we will add it all up the end of June. And then, well done everyone, highest PV and enrollments for May. So the top enrollments, Beata, 14 enrollments, 7 enrollments, for Nelly and Victoria, 5 enrollments. So well done, all the people that you see on here tonight, top PV. Well done to all you amazing people in our top 10 bracket as well. So incredible results there. And then quickly, we're just going to go over these, the reach, return, and maintain. So reach it for June, you can maintain it in July. If you've already hit a rank in May, you need to maintain it for July to get these amazing wins back again. So I know a lot of you are trying to go for this for June, so you'll have it in July. So yeah, great money to be won here. Biggest prizes I've ever seen LifeVantage do. Thanks, Brett. And then this is the mentor if you have anybody, but remember you must have 500 in new sales volume to be able to get these mentor bonuses as well. And if you haven't had a launch, please get in touch with your upline or your business partner to say, I would love to do a launch. They've been really successful. The most success, all these people that have them, I've got loads coming up in the next couple of weeks. Please, the day beforehand, send a reminder. On the day, send the link out, which would be www.zoom.us/J/ we'll put it up in the chat in here actually. I will put it up and the link. So please copy that and send it out. So everyone just has to press that button and they can, and just send it out an hour beforehand. That's it. Thanks, Brett. And just copy that link and send it out to everyone saying, hey, can't wait to see you in an hour. So I have found the best success are then people and then follow up. The secret is in the follow up. So please, please follow up any of the people and ask them, what did they like most? Don't say, what did you think? Always say, what did you like most? And I think that's us. It is. Right. So now I'm going to pass you over to the UK crowd. Brett and Patricia, take it over.
Thank you so much, G. Let me just unmute Patricia. And Patricia, if you're not unmuted, let's just make sure you're unmuted. Good.
I'm showing unmuted.
You're good. Okay, good. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, G. Patricia and I are super excited. We were chatting about this earlier today. To just share some of the changes around the launch guide. You'd think, well, changes, why already? Because the launch guide is less than 2 months old. But as you said in the introduction, there've been some revisions on that because of decisions taken across the whole company, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Before we do that, just a quick introduction. Patricia and I are both in the UK team, both having some success in the business, which is great. Patricia she's the secret weapon in our team, everyone, that no one knows about. She has been on this product, the NRF2 product, since January 2010, originally as a customer, right? So how's that? We in our team have somebody who's been on that product for 10.5 years now, if I do my maths right. So that's quite something. And so Patricia's going to talk in the ITT system tonight specifically about that final T, which is so important. And I'll do the stuff around art of inviting, and we'll just give you an update on the changes in the launch guide and why that's come about. So the launch guide revisions. You know this is available on Team Hearts United. Go to distributors, log in with Hearts 20, and scroll down and find the launch guide. This will be updated. It's been updated. It will be uploaded to our website today. Raji's partner, Scott, is on the case. So I think at the moment it's still the old one, but in an hour or two, you'll see that's updated and that'll be available. And why have we made these changes? Why is it so important? Well, every team worldwide in LifeVantage had a slightly different approach, right? So they were doing their own thing. And the company has retained Eric Warrer to try and help us to move our business forward. And of course, one of the first things he said was, well, if we're going to devise some training, then we should all be following the same system. So the Field Advisory Board, the FAB, have been working on aligning this into one system worldwide. And the great bit of news is that whole thread of work was led by our Master Pro 10, Rachel Peckrek, or Rachel Jackson, as we used to know her. So the good news is our original launch guide and our team was built on what Rachel put together for Team Heart. So you'll be happy to hear there's not a huge change with our team in terms of what needs to align. So that's good news because it was only a couple of months old and it was based on her original work. So with some adaptations. So now, and some of you may have heard this already, that there's a move towards one approach worldwide, and that's Invite Tool Team, ITT. You'll hear that abbreviation, ITT. And so the training, both at the corporate level and at the team level, can now be designed specifically around that. And so when you go on corporate training events, we'll all be following the same approach, which is just marvelous. And so the launch guide's been revised to align with that standard. And there's a picture of it over on the right-hand side there. So what's the structure of the revised launch guide? So the first thing is the support that you require in the corporate support, Team Hearts United support, and your immediate team support. So the things you'll need to know to really be successful. And then the incredible things that you've got to tackle early on in terms of being successful. Things like, have you got your minimum PV? Have you done your virtual launch, which we know are working so well? And other key bits of information to ensure success. Then we get started on our list, and that's the first 25 names of our list, the databasing of those people that we're going to contact. Then we're into the actual system itself, Invite Tool Team, which we'll cover today, and then some conversation starters and closers. And that was a key bit of feedback we got to the call and council about, can we have some conversation starters and closers that just kick us off in this process? So we've got some of those in there. And then obviously the Paysetter Pro 3 for those people that are keen to build fast in their first 90 days. Okay, quickly, let's just give you some sight of that. So the support, as you can see, all the customer service numbers, the back office URL to get into your back office, how you set up your own referral site, your team, and the key groups that you need to be in to make sure you're properly plugged in. With the success, it's your why, the key 3 reasons that you're tackling this opportunity, what's it going to give you in your world, how you get paid, how you get launched, and how you plug in and follow this and learn the skills you need to learn and grow your business. Then we're into the databasing section. So no change here, your list and the memory jogger, the kinds of people you can be reaching out to. Because let's think about it. When you sit down with your blank piece of paper and you start to think, or your printed out launch guide, and you think, okay, what are those 25 people? You go to your contacts in your phone, you go to your Facebook maybe, or your LinkedIn, or even your Instagram, and you say, okay, here's some people. And we often forget so many people that we can be talking to. I remember when I did this, I forgot about my hairdresser. I forgot about my mortgage broker. I forgot about my insurance financial advisor. There were so many people I hadn't thought through. So the memory jogger is there to really flash out all those people that we can add to our list. And don't be constrained by 25, right? So once that's 25's fill up, start a new system, an Excel spreadsheet, put it in a notebook. I know someone on here tonight who's joining us who's got a book of just those contacts that you can follow up. And that's a great way to track. So Dr. Cornack, who's also with us, would put that on Trello, which is another system where you can track it. It doesn't matter how you do it. It matters that you do it, right? So it's so important that we focus on that list, that databasing process to start off. Because without the list, we can't use the system, right? With this great new system we've got, doesn't work if we don't have people to talk to. So let's talk about that 3-step process. So we used to talk about invite, share, and validate. And now we're talking about invite, share a tool, and team. And in a second, we're going to dive into invite. But guess what? The elements of those 3 steps haven't changed for us, which is great because we were almost there with what we were doing. So it's just changing the labels. It's much snappier and easier to remember ITT, isn't it? That's something that we can all say, yeah, that's so much easier to remember. So in the launch guide, you'll see that it looks like this: invite, tool, team. And in that invite section, which we'll touch on in a minute, really what you just want to achieve is you're looking for a commitment from people that you're going to talk to, that they will look at what you're going to show them. So in that first step, it's so important that we just do a little bit. We don't overwhelm people. So let's explore that in a minute. The tool section is obviously sharing the tool that we're going to give them. And the key thing there is to be the messenger, not the message. And then the team bit is about plugging in the team to support. And that's what Patricia's going to cover for us in a minute. So invite, tool, team, ITT is the system. So Patricia, I know you're a big Eric Worre fan and you've read Mr. Worre's book, GoPro. And some of these thoughts resonate before we dive into invite. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I've read this book, I don't know how many times. I think it's chapter 5 is my favorite one on listening, but the chapter on listening really unpacks that, because that's the key, is listening and detaching emotionally from the outcome. What does that mean? Does that mean we don't care? Of course it doesn't mean we don't care. It means don't think, have the mindset like, if I sign this person up, I'll be Pro 5 next month. Don't go there. Make it about them. And how do you make it about them? Asking questions. And Eric is the master at that. And you'll see loads of network marketing gurus now with their coaching plans. They got it from Eric. It's a thin little book. You can read it easily, but it's a reference tool as well. I give a copy to all my team.
Yeah, and I think that point about, he makes it that, you know, yes, we can share today, which we're going to, around the art of inviting and some tips and tricks on that. But if you are not yourself, if you are not authentic, if you don't sound like you when you make contact with people, they'll know that you're just following some kind of bland script. So whatever we cover today is important that you take that and then make it your own. You know, there'll be some key things that we'll share, but still use your language, still use the approach that you would use when you talk to people. Because if you don't make it your own, people will recognize that that isn't you, and it won't be authentic. So it's super important. And then you've got to have enthusiasm and passion, right? You're doing something new, whether it's the enthusiasm for the products and the effects of the products, or this great business opportunity. We've got to come with some passion, because people feel that energy. And we've got the energy master on the call here today, Mandy McDonald. So if that vibration in you is strong, people will feel that. Even on a telephone call, people feel that. So smile and have that passion, because people do pick that up. And I know a big issue around posture, and that's particularly tricky when we're new, right? Because we think, I'm new, I don't know everything yet. And what I would say there is, you've got to have belief in the products, belief in the science. You've heard from so many people like Dr. Gail Pearson in the past, Dr. Craig Walsham, and others in our team about, listen, we don't have to doubt this. This is rock solid. So have that posture, because that portrays when you're engaging with people. So I think those four tips are so important from Eric. I agree with you, Patricia. It's just about positioning yourself before you start deploying the skills. Okay, so I'm just going to make this slightly smaller so we can see this here. So the first step in that invite, so the art of inviting, and there's really just 8 things to kind of fashion your invite around, which is so easy to do once you've practiced it a few times. And the first trick, and I learned this actually from the Elite Pro 8 in the UK, Lisa Panton, a key message she always has is that you've got to always be in a hurry. Always be in a hurry. And we'll see how that works in a minute. It's basically saying, I don't have the time to get into detail right now, but I was thinking of you. I'm just doing something else right now. I'm going to just give you a snippet of information in that first step in the invite, just something that hooks you, just something that grabs your attention, and then we'll get into it in a more detailed and with more time at some later later stage. And that's so useful. And I've been deploying that skill and it does work. And before you get into actually making the invite, reference things that you know about that person, things you've seen on social media, from conversations you've had when you've met up in person, back in the day when we can do that more readily. Things that you know about the person in the past, just find some way to bring that person in and compliment them. And then you make the invitation. And then a key suggestion, and this works so well, because that first step, as I was saying earlier, is about getting commitment from the person you're talking to so that they will look at the information that you're going to give them. So a conditional question like, if I, would you? If I send you a video that explains this, would you watch it? Would you give it the time to watch it? Those if I, would you statements are so clever because they get the person to commit to you that they're going to do something. Then with that commitment, you can progress that conversation forward to help them out with either a product or the opportunity. And then he suggests getting the time commitment. So when are you going to watch it? When can I follow up? Confirm that commitment. Okay, so that's a good time to follow up. We'll do that. And then schedule it and get off the phone. Get off the phone immediately. Go back to that point number one. You were in a hurry. So now's not the time to be chit-chatting. Now's the time to plant the seed and move on. So here's an example. I'm just in the middle of something. I'm heading out the door. I'm busy with the kids, whatever. I wanted to let you know that the post you made or the conversation we shared has really resonated with me. I've been thinking about you because I've found a product, so this one's about a product, that has changed my life and the lives of many others. It's unique, natural, scientifically proven. Here's the if I. If I send you the whatever tool, the investigative report, the overview, whatever, if I send you a tool, would you set aside some time, in this case 10 minutes, to watch it? If I send you an invitation to an online session to find out more, would you be able to attend? You're looking for the commitment of the person before you give them any information, because having committed to you, you're then more able to go and follow up with that person to see what they thought. And G's already said how we do that, and we'll come back to that in a minute. So when do you think you'll have time to watch it? Okay, so if I call you on such and such a date, would you have seen it by then? Okay, good. Let's go for that time. Great, I'll send that to you now. So that's the key. Don't forget to then send the tool that you've got the commitment to send, and look forward to catching up when we chat or when you message or however you've confirmed to have that conversation. So important. So that first step based around those key points. And there's an example. So if you want to take a photo, grab that screenshot quickly just as an example. But please remember, be authentic and work that into the way that you do that. I think the key things to remember there is be in a hurry, make the invitation, and use that if I, would you. It works so well. Okay, so the first step around invite is, the question around posture. Do you believe in the products? If you believe in the products, you've had a strong result, or you know people that have had a strong result, have that posture. And don't not put people on your list, right? So if you're going to invite, just literally database, put everyone on that list that you can think about, and don't prejudge, because you don't know people's personal circumstances and position. They might be ready for something and they might not. And remember that point about who is it you're looking to attract. Put everybody on your list, because you just don't know who's going to be in your spot, in your space, looking for what you've got. Here's a couple of shortcuts. So, hey, would you be open to learning more about how you can take control of your health? I've just watched a short investigative report. Notice the language. I've just watched a short investigative report, not a video, an investigative report. That sounds interesting. That really excited me. I know you'll love it. Can you take 10 minutes to watch? Hey, would you be open to learning more about how you can take control of your life? So that's somebody who's needing some circumstance changes. Okay. So you created your first element. You've created that opportunity. You've grabbed their attention. They've given you a commitment to look at it. Now you have to send the tool. And the key message I would say here with this tool step is be the messenger, not the message. It is not your job to have all the information. And G will tell you, I was one of those people. I need a little get in a support group and put my hand up and say, my name is Brett Dorney, and I was the message. I was not the messenger at the start. And that's a key lesson I've got for you is please don't think you have to know everything. All you have to do is share a tool, right? And one tool, not all the tools, because what we don't want to do is overwhelm people. So I just send one that I know based on the conversation we've had. So it could be the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. It could be Team Hearts United with the specific link. So for example, if I'm sending a video, I'll go to the video page and copy the URL with the video in the link and send that to the person. If I'm talking to a medical or a health practitioner, then I might use the Dr. Brian Dixon or Dr. Gail Pearson videos about Nerve 1 and Nerve 2. If someone's excited about the business, I might send the Unlocking Your Potential video, which is on our website. Right now, we've got all these virtual business launches going. So I might say, I'm starting a new business. Here is my virtual business launch, but I'd love it if you'd come along and give me support. If it's an upcoming overview, one of those great overviews that G just shared with us, again, send that, send the flyer. It could be a specialist themed event. It could be our horse events, or something we've got going on with, for example, Dr. Dondi Nettles or one of the other specialist themed events. Just share one tool and that will progress to a point. And you can then ask some questions. G said, what did you like best? What stood out? What was your favorite part? Are you open to learning more? And if you get a question or a concern, then just say, I'm new, I'm literally just getting my head around it, but I work closely with someone who's more experienced than I am. And we'll talk about that in a minute when Patricia does the final bit around team. And here's the lesson, people. I was talking to a couple of my team over the weekend. We think that we always have to go through to the very final step, but you might actually have somebody at this step who's convinced, right? Somebody might be convinced. And so send the shopping cart, send your pre-populated shopping cart with the products that have been discussed or that they're interested in from your referral site. Never just send your referral site, always send a pre-populated shopping cart. Make it easy for the customer, if they're ready to commit, to make that purchase. That's so important. Okay, but let's say they're not. And at this stage, you're wanting to plug into that final step. So you've shared a tool, but it isn't quite closed yet. That person isn't on the site ordering as you would expect or joining you in their team. So the power of this third step. So Patricia, tell us about this third step, the team step.
Well, third-party validation, I love, love, love it. So why do we need third-party validation when we can tell them everything? There's a little bit of psychology in that. So when I validate, I get to know the person just a little bit. Where do they live? And you ask someone a question, they'll invariably ask you the question. So then they ask where I live. So now we know a little bit about each other. And then I ask them about the issue that they had, how long they've had it. And it's amazing how much information they will tell me as opposed to the person that invited them on the call. Because when we're talking to our prospect initially, and we're suggesting something, I've heard this several times myself, so my team members, oh, you're just trying to sell me some pills, even though we're trying to help. But then you get them on the three-way call, and that's taken away. And one reason it's taken away is when I'm validating for someone, I start talking symptoms. And talking symptoms is like a language. It's a language they understand. Do you have to map out all the loos when you go to town? That resonates with them. And then they start asking me questions. And then we just get deeper and deeper. And before the call is over, oftentimes they will go back to their, the person invited them on the call and say, I want what she has, or can you help me order? But if that doesn't happen, I end the call by saying, are you ready to get started based on the conversation? So that's why you want to do a three-way call. So how do you do a three-way call? Well, you invite someone to be on the call. You schedule the date and the time. You can do it via Zoom. It's really good. Phone call, maybe they're not quite ready for the face-to-face yet. They want a little bit of anonymity. So phone call is really good for that. Facebook chat is okay, not my favorite. It's not as effective as hearing the intonations in the voice or seeing expressions in the face. And in due time in person, but we're a global company, so that's not always possible. But so you invite your person, you set the date and the time. I prefer having the person get their prospect on the call and then patch me in. If it's a Zoom, we use my Zoom address. But when you, as the person inviting someone on the call, you do the introduction, you edify both myself and your prospect, and then you mute yourself, your microphone on Zoom or yourself on your phone, and you get ready to take notes. This is powerful for you because this person is going to essentially spill their guts. They're going to give you so much information that you can use to help them build their health journey, help them along the way. And you want to write those things down and refer to them later on. But you also don't want to interrupt because you've just introduced this person as an expert, and they are an expert. I'm an expert in the areas that I'm going to talk about because I know more than the person I'm speaking to. I don't have to know everything, but I know enough. So you want to sort of remove yourself and just listen to that conversation. And I do always start out a conversation by asking that person how much time they have. So I know if it's a quick 5 minutes, I want to get to the point, or if they have an hour, then we can really get to know one another. And it's a tool that's just not utilized enough. So try it with someone who you feel comfortable with, just to get the mechanics out of the way. But once you see it in action, you'll realize how valuable it is. And it doesn't have to be scary. Don't sneak up on someone with a validator. Always ask them if they'd like to speak to someone who's maybe dealt with those things and use it in past tense so they're no longer dealing with those symptoms. And you'll be really surprised, and then you want to do another one right away. So thanks, Brett. Is that
perfect, Patricia? Thank you. Awesome. Just two things I would say there, just to add in about why we mute out and take notes, just to reinforce what you were saying. Is I remember the first time I did with one of these, and the first one I did was with one of our Pro 6s in Australia, Rebecca McQuilty, and I just shut up. I followed this system and I shut up and watched the dynamic unfold, the one you were describing, Patricia. And then you learn, right? So I'd never done one of those calls before, but I watched how it was done, so that now when somebody refers to me and says, can you talk to somebody about the business? I know exactly how it goes. And that step that you pointed out there is so important. Edify the prospect to the mentor. Look at the order here. First to the prospect. So thank the prospect for coming on and edify them to the mentor. And then the mentor to the prospect. So you'd start off by saying, this is my friend Jane. Jane's come on here because she's got some questions about the business, or she's got some questions about glutathione because she's an athlete, or whatever the issue is. Edify the prospect to the mentor. Then the reverse, mentor to the prospect. And the reason you mute yourself out is because you're going to learn, right? You're going to watch an example there that Patricia was talking about. You're going to see that unfold and go, that's not so difficult. I can do that in time once you've learned stuff. And that impacts on your closing rate so positively. So the ITT system, invite, remember those 8 steps that we shared. Build up your and include your if I would, you, share a tool, and then make sure you're talking to your sponsors and your sponsors' 3 or 4 levels up above you to find out who it is you can plug in your team to act as your third-party validation. Great. Excellent. I think we're done. Thank you so much for everybody's attention. I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.